This tutorial is about simulator scheduling. This is our flight training scheduler, and the first thing that he has to do during the scheduling process is to lay out the sim session with briefing and debriefing. The question here is, into which time slot will he put the sim session? In the early morning, or better a little bit later, or maybe in the afternoon session, or maybe even at night? These questions will be answered in this tutorial. So the first thing that we have to do in the Mint system is that we have to create these simulator slots, work patterns, in order to be able to assign these patterns to simulator 1 and simulator 2. That can be done on the tree management page. We have here an entity called event structures, and under them you find the work patterns. I already created 2 different work patterns. Let's see how they look like. This is sim session A, and here are our slots. If we switch on the hints, we can see slot 1 is from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, slot 2 immediately from 5 to 9 o'clock, and so on. So these are our available slots, what we define under sim slots A. In the Mint system, this thing here is called a work pattern. And we have in this example, we have 2 simulators, and let's assume that they have different slots. So I created another one, different colors, and this here starts a little bit later. The slot 1 is from 2 to 6. Right, from 2 to 6, the next one then is from 6 to 10, and so on. So these are the work patterns that you create under work patterns in the event structure. The next thing is we have to tell our curriculum, the product, which are the slot groups that are affected. Okay, how do we do that? Let's say we have the simulator session and the LOE session. And here under user schedule rules, we click this plus button. And now we have to select these 2 events, the simulator and the LOE event, and there are 2 options. This option means that every day can be moved individually, so they don't have to move into the same pattern. If we click here, it means they can move individually. So for example, if I said we use the simulator slot group, this is how it looks like. We would be done. If we want to tell the system that these 2 days must always be moved simultaneously into the same slot, in this case we have to do this with this other button, with this here, and say simulator. You can see this little 1 indicates that this is one group that has to be moved together. Okay, let's keep it as it is. That's all we have to do. We told the system it is the simulator slot group that has to match with this available pattern. Please keep in mind that at this moment we have not selected any work pattern, right? You remember in the first step we created 2 work patterns, but here we only say these 2 events, they can be moved simultaneously according to an available work pattern. But at this moment, we don't tell the system which is the work pattern that has to be used. It is pretty flexible. We click on OK, and here we can see it now, resource work rule, and we click on OK. Now let's see how this works in action. We go to our Mint page, and here we have simulator 1 and simulator 2. So let's start with simulator 1. What we want to do is we want to tell the system that simulator 1 works according to the slot group pattern, the work pattern slot group A. Right? So right mouse click, work patterns management. We want to assign a new work pattern. Here we are. That's exactly what we just created, the sim slots A for the simulator. Next. This is our simulator, right? And this is valid from let's say this work pattern valid from the 1st of May. Okay, we click on Finish. No. So we created, now you can see this here, we assigned the work patterns to simulator 1. Okay, let's schedule now some classes. In Kiel, recurrent training, let's say in the first 2 weeks of May. "20 classes. Test." Okay, create project. We are only interested in the devices and facilities slot group type, so we don't need the instructor. Click now on schedule. Now let's see how that looks like. It's pretty fast. Okay, what we see here is that it is not exactly what we were looking for, because I don't know if you are able to see that this color is not very good, but this slot goes from here, from 9 to this time, right? From 9 to this time. So the sim session was not scheduled exactly in this period. So there's something that we have to do, and I want to show you this here. We go in again into Work Patterns Management, click on Edit this time, and we have to tell the system under Work Rules that we don't allow assignments to overlap consecutive shifts, consecutive patterns. This is what the system does at the moment, because one pattern immediately starts after the other one. So the system is until now allowed to do this here, but we don't want that. So we have to say, no, we don't allow this. Finish. Now let's do this again. We delete the projects. And we schedule them again. And again without instructors. And now we can see it fits exactly into the predefined work pattern. This is what we wanted. It only takes at the moment the simulator number 1, because that is the cheaper one. Simulator 2 is a little bit more expensive. If we had more classes, more than 20, it would start to put events also into simulator number 2. And of course, we have to tell simulator 2, or we have to tell the system that simulator 2 has these other work pattern. I hope this clarifies how the Min system handles these simulator slots.